Why don't we use VR to train all surgeons? It's a question that feels so obvious, right? We have this incredible technology that can simulate literally anything, from flying a spaceship to walking on Mars. So why are we still learning to perform life-saving operations with a scalpel in a physical lab, on cadavers, or even just by watching? You'd think that in a world where we can game in virtual reality, we'd be training our doctors in it too. So what's the big deal about VR training? For one, it's safer. Instead of working on a human patient, a student can practice 1,000 times in a simulated operating room without any risk. Think of it like a flight simulator for doctors. Pilots don't learn to land a 747 on their first try with passengers on board. They practice for thousands of hours in a simulator. The same logic applies here. With VR, a student can practice a rare surgery, review their mistakes, and then try again instantly, no waiting for another opportunity. But what would it actually take to get this to happen? It's more than just putting on a headset. We'd need to create incredibly realistic simulations. Imagine a virtual human body that reacts just like a real one. If you cut too deep, it bleeds. And if you hit a nerve, the virtual patient reacts. This requires mind-bogglingly detailed programming, integrating physics engines, and ultra-high-resolution graphics. The technology would need to be so precise that it could replicate the feel of different tissues. This is where haptic feedback comes in. We're talking about special gloves or tools that mimic the sense of touch. A surgeon needs to feel the difference between a tough ligament and a soft muscle, or the resistance of bone. Without that, it's just a video game, not a surgical tool. So why isn't this already standard practice everywhere? The biggest challenge is the cost and the complexity of building these hyper-realistic simulations. Developing one single VR surgery module can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's for just one procedure. You'd need an entire library of them, for every type of surgery for every part of the body. Then there's the hardware itself. High-end VR headsets and haptic devices aren't cheap. And of course, there's the question of validation. How do we know that a surgeon who's great in VR is actually ready for the real operating room? You can't just throw out years of traditional training in medical school. There's a lot of skepticism in the medical community about whether this technology is a complement or a replacement for traditional hands-on learning. Could it ever happen? Absolutely. We're already seeing a massive leap forward. Companies are developing haptic gloves that can replicate the feel of veins and tissue. Medical schools are starting to use VR to supplement traditional training, letting students rehearse procedures before stepping into a real OR. As the technology becomes cheaper and more accessible, and as the simulations become more sophisticated, VR could become the new standard for early surgical training. It's not about replacing human teachers or hands-on experience, but about providing a safe, repeatable, and infinitely adaptable training ground. Imagine a world where every surgeon has 1,000 hours of virtual experience before they ever make their first real incision. We might just be getting closer to that future every single day. So maybe the real question isn't why don't we, but rather, how soon can we? If this got you thinking, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the questions that spark curiosity. There's a whole world of what-ifs and why-nots waiting to be explored. What topic should I tackle next? Drop your suggestions in the comments. I read every single one. Until next time, keep questioning everything.